Hi, I am your host, Leonette Talley, and you are listening to Virago 24/7. Virago is Latin for female warrior, and 24/7 is for all day, every day. Virago 24/7 is a weekly podcast that brings diverse women together to talk about life and our experiences in this world. We share our views on self-love, mental health, marriage, children, friendships, and really anything that needs to be talked about. Here, you will find everyday growth, everyday healing with everyday warriors. Just give me my space to move, 'cause it's my thoughts, what I want, and I want what I want. What's going on, everyone? I am back. I know that I have not been consistent throughout the summer. And now we're going into fall. So I told myself, you need to get back on this podcasting thing. I did a lot of traveling over the summer. Well, a lot. Yeah, more than usual. And so my focus was on that and not recording. So here I am to talk to you about one of my trips that I took that was amazing. It was Arizona. And my friend Tanika reached out a few months ago. I was like, hey, you want to do just a little girls trip, just the two of us? And since she's the planner of the two, she picked Arizona. Well, she picked Arizona and I agreed. And she found a wellness retreat there. We spent 2 days in Scottsdale, 2 nights in Scottsdale, and did a desert tour, which was really cool. The only other time that I've been in Arizona was with my husband, Philip, for some dental convention thing. And so we didn't really get to see Arizona. It was mostly inside a building. So I felt like it was the first time that I've been there, even though I had been there once before. But the other 2 nights that we stayed in was a town called Carefree. So the name alone, Carefree, Arizona, brings peace and tranquility, just the name. And the name of the resort is Savannah. And they haven't been open for very long. But as soon as you walked in, the smell was just beautiful and soothing. I can't describe the smell. They do have candles that they make with that smell. And of course I bought one, even though it cost a gajillion dollars, but the smell is it just brings you at ease right away. And you can see outside to the mountains and the desert. It just the scenery alone is just gorgeous. I kept saying all weekend, I'm like, this looks so fake, because in Georgia, we don't have, the different vegetation that they have there. And it just it's so beautiful. It looks fake. And so we're surrounded by mountains and that gorgeous smell in the lobby. And they talk like this. So anytime I'm around people that whisper, it reminds me to whisper, because my indoor voice and outdoor voice are pretty much the same all the time, which is very loud. I blame it on my deep voice. I feel like I have a deep voice for a woman. So I blame it on that. But it booms, and it is what it is. But when I'm around people that talk like this, I try to mimic what they're doing so that I don't look like a crazy person talking loudly. And so everyone talks like this. Or I saw some of the workers doing hand signals to each other so that they wouldn't disturb us. Amazing. And everything about it just screamed Zen. And I have come here to calm my butt down, especially after, if you heard the last podcast show, it's called Recreating Yourself in Your 40s. And I talked about me crying and breaking down in Savannah, and just go back and listen to why that all happened. But I just emotionally I had been holding on to some things. So I gotten back from Savannah from dropping my oldest daughter off at college and being an emotional wreck. And I came back from that weekend. It did not feel well. So truthfully, I did not want to go on this trip. I'm like, I just want to be home in in my own environment. But I'm like, I can't cancel on my friend. Like, she did all this planning. So, but once I got there, I said this, and even staying in Scottsdale and going on the desert tour was really cool. And I was like, yeah, I needed this trip. But going into this wellness retreat, I said, I needed to be here. I needed to be here because it brings you so much peace. And even the food, oh my gosh. So the food, there's a cafe and a restaurant. So the cafe's open during the day, restaurant at night. And when I'm like reading through what kind of food, it says plant-based foods, which I love vegetables, but I also love my meat. I love my meat so much. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope it's not just me eating plants. So they did have some protein, which made me happy. And the food was just so healthy and delicious, and just being there. And they have a spa, and we did that, and they had 2 different pools. So everything about it was just beautiful. All the things that you think of when it comes to a wellness retreat or just feeling zen, imagine that. And that's what it was. And that's how you felt. Even they have that labyrinth, everything here was very earthy and just about mind, body, spirit, all of those things. And you felt it. And they have this labyrinth. And I was like, oh, I've seen that on TV, and I've seen other people take pictures with this labyrinth. I'm like, what do we do? So Tanika just sat there. She's like, I don't understand what this is supposed to be. I'm like, I think you're supposed to take off your shoes and be one with the earth. So I did it. I'm like, I'm going to experience all of this. So the very last night we were there, I took my shoes off. We walked. The sun was setting. It was so beautiful. And I'm just one with the earth and just going through this labyrinth and just closing my eyes as I walk. And it was just, I don't know what I was supposed to get out of it, but I did feel one with the earth, and it was just beautiful, beautiful. So one of the things with this wellness retreat, besides having a nice pool and a spa and the good food and the whispering voices, there's classes that you could take. And so before we got there, there was a list, and I'm just reading through, and I'm like, okay, happiness journey. There's a happiness journey class. And so I'm going to take that. And there's a stretching class. So I took that, and another happiness, another happiness one, and a meditation. So it was 2 per day. And that was included with our fees. So that is what I'm going to talk to you guys about, because I learned so much. And I wish, Tanika and I were talking, and we're like, we wish that everyone could go to something like this and experience it, like to the point where I would love to do something like that once a year. Maybe, I don't know if there's any close to where I live, but just going out and being reminded of little things in life. So you go there to recharge and regroup and to refocus. And so that's what I got from that. Like I said, leading up to it, I just needed a reminder of calm down. It's not that serious. And that's the focus that, all the classes had, is just like, calm down. But the happiness journey one was this lady who led it, who she is one of those that I got this vibe where she is very healing with her words, and seems like she knows exactly what to say at, each moment. And maybe like, she didn't touch me, but I can imagine like her touch is very like energetic. Like, do you know those people that just can lay their hand on your shoulder and you just feel electricity? So that's the vibe that I got from her. She had her shoes off. We're sitting in these little chairs that are like sitting on the floor, and it's like a mat, and then there's a back to it. I'm like, this is so cool. I need this for home. So you can stretch your legs out. You're literally sitting on the floor in this chair. So you can cross your legs, sit with your legs out, just have your shoes off. It's just a very chill, relaxed atmosphere. And so, she's telling us a little bit about herself, and then she tells us to close our eyes. And well, first, before she told us to close our eyes, she said, talk to someone. I went by myself. So Tanika took a different class, and, talk to someone that you don't know and introduce yourself. And she says, basically that exercise was to let us know and remind us that we're all connected. No matter where we go, there's always a connection to somebody in a room. But anyways, after that, she had us close our eyes. And you can do that if you're not driving or if you're walking or whatever, if you're in your house. She says, close your eyes and imagine and remind yourself, remember a happy moment, the happiest moment you've ever had when all was well with the world. And so everyone closed their eyes, and she asked, does anyone want to give examples of what you thought about? And a lot of the things that people said, and in these kind of situations, Miss Talkative over here likes to observe. So I like to observe, and I may not volunteer for things. I just like to observe and listen to other people's things. So I did not share mine. But a lot of what people were sharing were, one lady said what the memory that came up was her coming back from a work trip, and her daughter seeing her as soon as she walked in and like running to her and just jumping on her. Another guy said that he just turned 50. So it was a recent memory of him being with his family at a table, family and friends, eating and celebrating him and his life. Another lady and husband, that they were there together, she said her memory was just her and her husband in the backyard, their 2 children playing on the jungle gym in their backyard, and them having a nice glass of wine. The sun was setting. They had music playing and just being at peace, in their home. And there were so many other similar examples. And mine was, I couldn't pick one, but all the ones that popped in my head immediately were me and Philip, our one-on-one time. Most of it was, when we're out of town and we're connecting and we're having fun together. So those were the things that popped in my head. And then she asked us, what are the feelings that you felt in every scenario, in everyone's scenario? Most of the people said they felt a feeling of content. They felt safe. They felt free. They felt alive. So those were the common feelings from each memory. And all of the examples were very simple. They weren't complicated. They all involved connections with people. So a lot of the times, her point to that exercise was, a lot of the times we think, oh, when we get that job, or, if we make this amount of money, or we get that house, or we live here, or we live there, we think we're going to be happy, and that's what's going to bring us joy. And a lot of these things was just you being in the moment. That was a big thing at this retreat, is like being in the moment, being in the moment, being in the moment. All the time, be in the moment. Because right now, boom, that moment's gone. Okay, boom, that moment's gone. It's like, oh my gosh. So just being in the moment was their biggest motto here. And so all of these had in common was just simplicity, being just content with that moment, with that person or people that you're with. And it's not, no one said anything about money or things or anything materialistic. It was all connection. And that's such an eye-opener. We kind of know these things, the majority of us, it's common sense stuff. And when you think about it, you know that, man, that is true. It is the simple things. It is connection with people. Because once, we get those materialistic things, yeah, it's going to be wonderful in that moment. But then what? We have to be happy within. And that's one thing that she said. Happiness is an inside job. We're the ones that limit our own possibilities. So a lot of these things that I'm going to say in this show may not be things that I've come up with. Those are things that she, was saying. So, which I wrote down. I was like writing like a crazy person. Happiness is an inside job. We're the ones that limit our own possibilities. And one other big thing that brings happiness, she was saying, besides it coming internally and things being so simplistic and we overcomplicate things as humans. But she says non-resistant equals happiness. And so then she kind of broke it down. She's like, if someone says or does something that we don't like, just don't resist. Who cares? She says resist resist having to express yourself or resist having to, push back. It's when we resist that all of those negative emotions come out. So just don't resist. And she showed us this picture of, it looks like a Middle Eastern man, and there's a person, it looks like an interviewer, and his back is to us. So it's a picture, and that's what she showed us. And there's quote bubbles. So the guy is asking, what is the secret to eternal happiness? And the guru guy says, to not argue with fools. And the interviewer says, I disagree. He said, yes, you are right. So the point to that, which was really funny, it's like, yeah, you're right. You don't have to argue with people. You don't have to be right. She was saying, don't argue with fools. What we resist persists. So if we keep resisting something, it's just going to keep happening. And do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? We've heard these things so many times before. This is nothing new, but it's so true. If someone's coming at you and they're acting a fool, let it go. Let it go. That's what's going to bring you happiness, and that's what's going to bring you peace internally. So anyways, I'm sitting here writing things down. She's talking about that. So then she starts talking about the 3 categories of happiness. And the first one is pleasure. What brings us pleasure? Where do I get my sense of satisfaction? It could be through foods we eat, activities, watching a movie or reading a good book or going for a run or a walk, shopping. And she says that life is a series of choices. We just need to pay attention. Where attention goes, energy flows, and we get to design our own lives. So what brings us joy? Do it, within reason. There's a lot of bad things that bring us joy, but you know what I'm talking about. It's what brings you pleasure. The second category is the meaning of life. We want to belong and drive meaning for our lives. And these are some of the questions that I haven't quite journaled yet, but and I want to. She asked us, when do I most feel when my purpose is most alive? So when do I feel most alive? I think this is my purpose and I'm doing it. When I'm connecting with people on a deeper level. So for me, that's what makes me feel alive, doing this, talking to people, connecting with people, truly connecting. I don't like superficial and I don't like surface stuff. I mean, I do to a point, it just depends, but I like that deep. So that's where I feel where I'm most alive, where I'm listening and just sharing. And then it's also, she said, ask yourself what matters. And this is especially something that you should ask yourself when you're in an argument. What really matters right now? And where do I derive or extract meaning for my existence? And she basically said we like to go around trying to answer this question of what's the meaning, what's the purpose? And she says, which I love so much, she says, I'm meaningful because I exist, period. We're all meaningful because we're here. And there's a reason for that. Third category of happiness is connection. But before we can connect to others, we have to connect to ourselves first. She says we must find out who we are and what we like and what we don't like. So we just have to ask ourselves these questions to find out, what are my strengths? What am I good at? When do I feel like I'm most in the flow? We get to choose, she kept saying, we get to choose. And in order to be in tune with ourselves, she says, be attuned with certain sensations like joy, enthusiasm, gratitude, pride, optimism, contentment. And tell yourself to bring forth these feelings. Because again, we get to choose. And be mindful of these moments. Be mindful of the moments where you feel these feelings and sensations. And then she gave examples like a hot shower. Like that I love to do because I know in certain countries, especially I'm half Dominican, and they don't have warm water. And Puerto Rico either, but there's ways around it over there. Hot showers. Anytime I get in a hot shower or just like really good running water, I'm just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Electricity, like an example she gave was clean sheets. Like when you get in the bed and they're clean and you just put them on and they just smell so good. And I do like this little running man with my feet when with my legs when I'm in the bed with clean sheets. I act like a little kid. Eating something delicious. And patting yourself on the back when you've done something amazing. That goes back to pride. I have when that comes to that word, she said a lot of people think of that's negative, and it's not. You can be prideful in who you are and love the things that you're doing, and that's okay. I definitely struggle with that one. For instance, pride is hard for me. Gratitude, that's not a hard emotion. I can bring that forth very quickly. Same with joy and contentment. But pride, I have a hard time with that. So she said, ways to strengthen certain sensations that you can't bring up or that you feel are hard for you. She said you can set goals and tap into your purpose and enjoy the process of transformation. So set goals and just enjoy it. Enjoy watching yourself grow. Practice savoring. Attempt to fully feel and enjoy and extend positive experiences. And refrain from negative thinking. That's hard for me too. Pay conscious attention to how you speak to yourself and switch as soon as you feel like you're saying something negative or thinking something negative to yourself. Just flip it right away. And that's one thing that I've turned from, because she said that this is homework. You have to go home and do this consistently. So, for instance, gratitude. People like to keep a gratitude journal to remind themselves to be grateful. And that was another thing. Journal your thoughts and your feelings and your ideas or your things that you're grateful for, and that will become a habit after a while. If you continue to do it, it becomes a habit. And one great thing that I took from her class was she says you have to shift your mindset. Because we get to choose. That's what she kept saying. We get to choose. So shifting your mindset. And one thing that she does now is she doesn't like to say, I have to go and do this. I have to do that. She's like, I get to. Stop saying I have to. Instead say, I get to. I get to wake up. I get to go and watch my child play soccer, even though they're probably not the best player. That doesn't apply to me though, and my son. I'm just saying, I get to, go to this party. Sometimes it's like, oh, I have to go do this, or I have to. And that has been amazing for me. And it's only been a month, but I've been using that one. I get to. As soon as I say I have to, so if you guys start hearing me say I get to, it's because I'm trying to shift my mind from thinking the negative. So that was my happiness journey class that I took, which was full of information. I can't possibly do it justice. I'm paraphrasing a lot of things. And yeah, so that is so simple, because before I move on to the next thing, people think when you have a lot, there's a lot of unhappy people that have big houses and lots of cars and all the things, right? People think, oh, well, they should be happy. Look at everything they have. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So many unhappy people that have things. So I don't like when people equate materials with happiness. One of my pet peeves. Anywho, moving on. I did a stretching class. That was wonderful. We don't need to get into that. We got to stretch. I don't do enough of that. And I was really hurting. And it's stuff that was simple. It wasn't like these like crazy stretches. but it hurt because she kept you there for like a minute or two in that same position. So do lots of stretching, everyone. That same teacher that taught the stretching class was my meditation, our meditation instructor. So the very next day, we had a 7:30 appointment, which for some people, 7:30 does not sound early. For Leonette on vacation, to wake up that early is not. It's like just unheard of to wake up that early when I'm on vacation. But you know what? I said, open mind. I'm going to go to this meditation class at 7:30. Woke up, threw some yoga pants on and a tank top. Me and Tanika are going to meditation. First of all, my mind wanders way too darn much to meditate. I've tried it. It's a lot. It's many, many thoughts just running through my head, and it's not relaxing. So I've tried it. I always wanted to be one of those people that can meditate, that can just block all the noise out super duper hard. But here I am in this class with the cute lady from the night before who led the stretching class. She's so cute. Oh my gosh. All right. Just gorgeous, just typical, like cute looking little yoga instructor. She had a cool tattoo on the side of her arm of an arrow, which I love arrows and feathers and all that fun stuff. It was so cute, so cute. So we get in there and we sit on the floor in the same little chairs that we sat in for the happiness journey with the backs. And so we're sitting there and I'm like, okay, I just needed to stay in the moment because everything is all about in the moment. So I'm like, I'm going to be open-minded to this whole meditation thing. So we sit down and her voice is so soothing. So it was easy to focus on what she was saying. So she's talking, she's easing us in. I don't remember how she started, but then she starts chanting. It's Sanskrit. I don't know a lot about meditation. I went and Googled it later, and there's so many different mantras that coincide with meditation and yoga and all those things. I was like, wow, I didn't realize there were so many things that you can say during meditation. But this is the one that she says. And I bet I'm going to butcher it, but here it goes. So it says, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. And then she starts singing it. She has a voice of an angel. Or maybe it was because I felt super relaxed, but everything about being in that room was electrifying. So she starts singing, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Except so much better than that. So she's repeating this over and over and over again. And she's saying, this means, may all beings everywhere be happy and free. And I went later on and looked it up. And it says, this is a beautiful Sanskrit mantra that offers a blessing of compassion and kindness to all beings. Its translation is simple. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. So that was the chant. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. So she's singing, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. And then she wants us to chant it. And I'm just like whispering it because I'm like, I am not singing up in front of all these people. But here I am singing it to you guys on this podcast. So there you go. So we're chanting this over and over again. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. So then she wants us to imagine that we have happiness, happy and free, like in our hands, and we're gifting it to someone. So she says, imagine someone you love, the person that you love, and imagine going up to them and giving them this gift. May you be happy and free. So the way I envisioned it, I had it in a little box and I'm carrying it. And obviously, the person I love is my husband. And I envision my children as well. I love them too, everyone. But I envision giving each of them this box of May you be happy and free. So she's talking us through this, and I'm like in the moment, everyone. Oh my gosh, my mind is not wandering. I'm listening to her voice because in between she's like chanting the, Loka, Samasta, Sukhinu, Bhavantu, and we're singing it over and over again in between. So I'm imagining it's easy. I'm giving the loved ones, my loved ones, this gift of happy and free, happiness and freedom. That's easy. So then the next person she wants us to envision is an acquaintance, someone that you may not really know, but you see them often. And you want to give them this gift of happy and free, being happy and free. So random, at first I was blank. I was like, I don't know. And then random. This lady at my son's school, she works up front, and he's been there, let's see, 5, 6, 7. This is his 4th year there at this very small private school. And when we were first there, I was like, this lady doesn't like me. Or maybe this is just how she is, just very not warm and fuzzy or smiley. But I like those kind of people because I'm so nice and I'm so myself and I crack the code always. And lo and behold, she smiles to me and actually speaks and says more than one sentence, because that's what she did in the beginning. Would say like hi, sometimes not even, but now she speaks to me. So for some reason she popped in my head. So I'm giving her, and I know nothing about this lady, so I don't know why, but maybe she needed to be the one to be given this gift of may you be happy and free. So I envision giving her this box, and inside is happy and free. And she's so happy. Every time I give these boxes in my head as I'm meditating, everyone's so happy to receive this. Then she talks about, I'm trying to remember the order. I guess it doesn't really matter. World leaders. And it doesn't have to be, a president or anything like that. Just any world leader, think of them and give them this happy and this box of may you be happy and free. Now, the one that got me was think of someone that you have a hard time getting along with. So someone that is hard for you to communicate with, for you to get along, for you to be around, and imagine them. And I don't know what happened because before I just felt light and airy and just like, oh, I'm giving away freedom and happiness with my little boxes. May you be happy and free. But yeah, it's easy when it's people that you love or, don't really know, but you still want the best for them. And the person that popped in my head is my stepmom. And if any of you know me, you know that it's for me on my side, my perspective, it's always been hard for me to get along with her. She may think differently, but for me, it's hard. I have a hard time getting along with her and how she is. And we don't have to get into detail right now, but that's who I thought of. I don't know what happened. It felt like a weight was thrown on me, like a weighted vest. I felt heavy, and I envisioned her face, and I have this box, and I feel so heavy. I don't know where this feeling came from because I was perfectly fine 2 seconds before. And I'm holding this box, and she's chanting, the mantra of, Loka, Samasta, Sukhinu, Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. So she's chanting this in between giving this to someone. So I'm handing over this box of happy and free over to my stepmom, and I give it to her, and she's so happy to accept it from me. And I genuinely, in my meditation and my thoughts, it felt like you're dreaming, but you're not asleep, I was in a zone. It's so hard to describe because I'm there, but I'm not there. And the heaviness, it's so heavy, so heavy. And so I'm crying. Tears are coming down my face. Like I wanted to like get up and run out of there. I was hyperventilating on the inside because I didn't want to act crazy. It was like one of those cries, and I had to compose myself, and just tears just all down my face. And so I'm handing my stepmom the happy and free. May you be happy and free. And I hand it to her, and she takes it, and tears are coming down, and she starts chanting this and chanting, and more tears and more tears. And then as quickly as that heaviness came over me, it left so quickly. And then I felt like just peace. I'm still crying, but not as like, I don't want to get up and run out because I thought I was going to cause a scene by starting to cry really loudly. That heaviness went away, and I felt peace. And I thought that I've slowly gotten over so many things without going into detail when it comes to her. And I've accepted, and I've forgiven, and I've done all the things. But this was so powerful. And I've always said, I want the best for her. I don't want ill will against her ever. I would never want that. But yet I don't want to get too close, if that makes sense. Just because you don't want to get close to someone doesn't mean you wish them ill will. But I think handing over and truly feeling like, wow, I want you to be happy and free, and giving it to her, and just, I don't know what that was. What it unlocked something. It came over me, and then it went. And I left that session so tired and exhausted of like, I felt like I ran. I did exercise because it was an emotional heaviness, and then boom, it was gone. I was like, that was freaking amazing. That was like the most powerful moment that I've had in a very, very long time. And I want to start meditating, everyone. It was the coolest thing. And I want to put that instructor, I'm like, I wish she had a podcast of just meditation with her gorgeous voice, because the way I just sang that whole thing did it zero justice. But by the end, I felt like I was the only one in the room. I'm chanting with her. There was a few other people that started chanting too, but I'm chanting and I'm crying and I'm letting go and all the things. And by the end, the tears were all gone. I felt lighter. I didn't walk away like, oh my gosh, that was so sad. It was just like, wow, that was like some internal stuff that just happened. And I feel tired, but I feel light. It was the coolest. And if you have a chance to, you don't have to go all the way to Arizona to meditate. I know that. So just find somebody who's super amazing like her. I just want to put her in my pocket, or she can get a podcast. I should have told her that before I left. I'm like, you need a podcast. I can listen to you from Georgia, because she was just so beautiful. And I'm sure there's so many other beautiful meditation leaders. I don't know what we call them, but people that just guide you through it, because that was so powerful. And so now I need to be more mindful of meditating and trying to carve out time for that. I have a lot of time on my hands. It's just making it a priority. So that's a dumb excuse to say when I carve out time. I have plenty of time. I don't work outside the home anymore. I just need to do it. I need to find a cool app and start just releasing. And there's so many other mantras that I didn't know existed that I need to just learn how to say them and sing them to myself. But yeah, that trip leading up, I did not want to go, not because I didn't want to hang out with my sweet friend. That wasn't it at all. It was just, I just wanted to hibernate. When I get in a mood, I want to hibernate from the world. But that trip, if you can go to a wellness retreat, do it, because it was so fun and so enlightening. And I love just all of the calmness that people exude. I want to be more like that, more calm and one with the earth. Just a phenomenal trip. And I just wanted just to share with everyone how amazing it was, and how it's the little things in our lives, man. It's the little things that can make us happy if we just choose to see and open our eyes and open our hearts. And a sweet friend in our community passed away, Michelle Miner. And she was so full of light and smiles, and the kind of person that would come into a room and just start talking to you. And so many people describe her that way. She passed earlier this week. And Philip just looked at me and he's like, man, all the stuff that people take so seriously, that isn't even that serious. They just waste it away, and you just have to enjoy each moment. And when things happen like that, when someone passes that you knew and you knew how much light they brought to this community, so many people know her. She leaves behind 2 boys, still minor boys, and she wanted to come on the podcast a few months ago, and I was a little intimidated by it, just to show how much I wanted to show people how much light she exudes. And for whatever reason, it didn't happen, but it just reminds me that just enjoy what you have. And if you don't love what's happening in your life, change. Stop playing the victim. Stop thinking that, oh, this is just the way things are. We can choose. And it may not always be easy, but you can choose to be happy and choose to look at what's in front of you. I'll end with this quote. Wellness is the complete integration of body, mind, and spirit. The realization that everything we do, think, feel, and believe has an effect on our state of well-being. Thank you so much for listening to Virago 24/7. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and please give us 5-star ratings. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Virago24_7 and on Facebook at Virago24/7, and just connect with us and share your story. We'd love to hear from you.